Welcome back to Optimize Health, where we're making easy, healthy, and delicious meals. Today we are bringing you a seasonally appropriate baked good. We are going to be starting with some almond. Flour blend, some butter and coconut oil, and we are going to make pumpkin rolls. So we are basically going to be doing similar to a cinnamon roll, and we're going to be adding some pumpkin for health and for flavor. So what I have here are about 2 pats of butter. I'm going to add another maybe 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I'm just going to melt these a little further in the microwave just quickly. We have our pumpkin here. I had to melt that a little bit because I had froze it. It's a good trick if you have extra and you're not going to use it right away. It smells delicious. It's kept a lot of its good texture and it's not too moist, so I think that I'm going to pull about half of this for a recipe and it's going to work really well. This flour blend, it's an almond flour blend. We also have added leavening already. You could use any of your baking blends. We prefer to use the low carb for health reasons. And just let us know if you guys find something that works really well, or maybe if something didn't work great, we can try to troubleshoot it. So 20 or 30 seconds in the microwave for the butter and oil. Then we're going to add some flavoring. Found this. I love Loran oils, so we're going to have a splash of that and just your regular vanilla extract. I like to put all my wet ingredients into the wet oil, and then that's going to allow us to have it mix in better. You only need a little splash of your flavorings. The pumpkin bakery emulsion I'm going to shake up, and then I open just a little corner of it so that only a drop or 2 will come out. I'm going to put 2 drops of that one in. Another really big favorite around here is this pumpkin pie spice from Trader Joe's. So we can go ahead and add these now too. That's about half a teaspoon. A little bit of bonus cinnamon here to really extend the flavor in all of the ingredients we're going to be adding. I just wanted to add just a dash of allspice as well. And so that flavor mix from Trader Joe's, it has already in it cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. So it's perfect. And I forgot to mention, I did put some stevia in my flour blend, but it's also a great time if you have powder or liquid stevia to add it to your wet mixture. And also a good time to measure out. I usually just measure by looking, approximately 2 or 3 tablespoons of pumpkin. This is just regular pumpkin that's been pureed and canned. You could use a pumpkin pie pumpkin mix too. I think that would work just fine. So whatever you have. And then we're gonna mix this in. Get all our wet ingredients good to go. The flour blend has already been mixed, but if you haven't, I would recommend putting that in a separate, larger bowl and give yourself enough space to mix that up. So You could just make these pumpkin rolls however shape, or if you wanted to roll them out like a dough and roll them into a cinnamon bun type of roll. That's what we're gonna do, but you could also just use it like a sweet pumpkin bread or a cupcake. So what I'm gonna do is add this just a little bit at a time. The consistency for this, especially with a gluten-free, low-carb blend, is gonna potentially give some challenges. So I recommend using a flour blend that is already kind of formulated, or you can always make your own like I do. So I want it to be more like a shortbread dough. It's pretty thick, and I'm hoping it's gonna come together here with that final bit of flour blend. If not, I'll add a little extra. It's still a little bit wet, so when that happens, because you're not precisely measuring things out, you can salvage and rescue your recipe. What I'm gonna do is just add a little bit more of this blend. You should talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or veterinarian to see if any of these recipes, suggestions, or contents of these videos are right for you. Nothing contained in these videos are intended to be taken as medical advice. Use at your own risk. Alrighty, so I pulled out a little bit more here, and when you're making shortbread, it could easily go one way or another. In the meantime that I was mixing that up, it's already kind of gotten a little thicker, so we're just gonna add a dusting at a time and see how that goes. If you do happen to have too dry, you would want to add your liquid. Typically with shortbread, it's okay if you're gonna add just a half a teaspoon of water at a time and really mix it in well. It really can change that quick. So see how we're already starting to doughify here with just that addition of flour, and some of our coconut oil has solidified, but it will melt in really nice into this dough, and we do want it to be like a very moist and very decadently rich dough with all of the coconut oil and fat. So this is probably gonna be enough to take away any of the residual slightly sticky wetness of this dough ball we're gonna make. Okay, so we've got a little bit of wet dough down here. I think I can fix it. I like using the fork for some parts of this because it can help in more ways than the spatula. It's pretty good. This will work. I think it could be a little drier, but I think while we're working with it, it might set up a little more firm. So I might just let good enough be good enough and not try to overcorrect here. So in general, it's not really too sticky here. It's formed a ball of dough. That's what we want. And now we are gonna set that aside for a second. Decided you could use whatever you want if you're gonna roll this out like I'm gonna show you, you can put different flavors, whether it's like sweet or savory in here. But what I decided to do with this one is some cream cheese. So I'm going to divide out a little cream cheese. I think probably gonna need about a tablespoon. We're gonna sweeten and vanillify this a little bit. That was all nice and melted. I just set it by the oven as I'm getting the oven heated up to bake these, and it's softened up pretty well, so I can basically sweeten this up a little bit with the stevia. I use all natural stevia. This container I've reused. The Trader Joe's, it was good. It's a whitened, I guess they must bleach it or something, because what I get from the supplier directly is just the leaves of the stevia plant that are powdered, so it's ultra natural. So green is a good theme for us. A lot of the sweet stuff it's gonna be green because of all the stevia. You could, if you wanted to make this a little more exciting, also add in some amaretto. So I'm gonna try that. And I know we just need a little splash. Maybe a teaspoon. Not going to want to mix the most, but it's just such a small amount that we're going to be able to get it in there. And it's looking okay. Fortunately, I don't have a large amount. I'm not making a big batch, but it might be nice to have a mixer around here for some of these recipes. I try to just keep it simple with equipment, as you probably have noticed. So this is pretty well mixed. There might be a few little lumps, but since I'm going to be spreading it in the layers of dough, it's going to be resolved on its own. So I'll put this aside. Don't need this anymore. I prefer to use a more non-stick to roll this out. So wooden cutting board can pose some challenges for cleanup. So that'll save us some time later. I think I'm gonna try to make this a little bit thinner, so let's put some of this aside. It's very moist. Rolling pin, also not in my repertoire right now. But you can use like a glass jar or anything that you have around. And I'm probably gonna want to pull a spatula. Some of these really like nice wide ones can help. Just making sure that I'm gonna be able to extract this off when we are ready. Yeah, okay. So not pressing down too hard. Let me actually cut this. And then we can probably make another one after we get this one set up. Just roll that back out. So our filling, spread this in here. Probably could do it a little thicker if you like, and probably a little thinner if you like. I'm not going to be too picky. I'm sure it's going to taste good. So now I'm going to See if I can try to roll it up. I have to kind of encourage it a little bit. It is really soft and really workable. It's nice to work with a piece this size because it's a little more manageable. And we want to not be too worried about some of the cracks, because this sort of shortbread dough, it does need to kind of like breathe to be able to bake up properly. So I want to get a nice clean cut, and I'm going to pull out. You could use a butter knife for this, but I've got this one here ready. So cut to whatever size that works. We're going to kind of make these little. So I'm going to cut this size. It's maybe 2 centimeters thick. You could use a different cutter. Let me see if I can make that into, I'm gonna make that into 2. This one will be just a little thicker. And that's how they look right now. So we're just gonna pop them into a hot pan. I'm gonna show you how that goes in 1 second. So I preheated this pan. You don't need to grease it. It's a non-stick that I use, and these are already they're gonna be very buttery and moist. So we're just gonna put those in here, and they will cook up probably about 20 minutes. Shortbread can take a little while. It's gonna be on a lower medium heat. I might add the other batch to this, but for now, let's just go with this. All right, so we just wanted to show you the final product for these pumpkin spice rolls, or pumpkin cinnamon rolls with our cream cheese and amaretto filling. Hope you guys try it out and let us know what you think. Please send in comments and suggestions for new recipes we should try. Thank you. Please